Okie dokie, boys and girls, it is day 246 of the bulk, and cardio killed my gains. Especially yesterday. I did so much cardio that I was unable to squat the weight I wanted. But rather than saying cardio killed my gains, I should say I killed my gains by doing too much cardio. That's my own choice. But in itself, cardio doesn't kill your gains. It doesn't. It even benefits it, because if you do light cardio in moderation, it's gonna increase your ability to recover. If you're on a bulk, it's gonna increase your appetite. It's gonna allow you to eat more food. It's gonna allow you to catch your breath quicker in training. It's good for your heart health, like all of these benefits, right? All from cardio. But the benefits go away when you start doing too much. When you do too much, you won't be able to recover anymore. When you do too much, yes, you might have an appetite, but it doesn't amount to the amount of calories that you are burning, and you won't be able to recover anymore from your training, because you're doing too much of both training and cardio at once. Now, what is too much cardio, right? In my opinion, it's not like a set amount of time, because you can be a cardio bunny, start training, and still be able to handle a couple hours a day. But what's really gonna kill your gains is trying to hypertrophy, get hypertrophy gains on your cardio, while also trying to get hypertrophy gains on your strength training, on calisthenics, because that's what I was trying to do. I was trying to increase the distance on my running, and at the same time I was trying to increase the weight of my squats, but it was just too much to handle. And then yesterday I wasn't able to squat anymore. So take a form of cardio, make sure that whenever you do it, from yourself that you'll be able to do it again the next day, like the same thing you did today, with the same effort level, or even less, because if you try to get hypertrophy gains, like actively, your effort level will rise. You will have to put more and more effort into your cardio sessions in order to make them happen, but your body won't be able to catch up, because you're also trying to do the same for your strength gains, right? Your body, it can't handle anything. So am I saying you should always do the same fucking thing, right? You should never increase the amount of cardio. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying you should pick an effort level, an easy effort level that you can handle, right? Where you feel like, hey, this is benefiting me. And then you should keep to that effort level. And eventually, at the same effort level, you'll be able to do more cardio. Perhaps if you're running, you'll be able to run faster, further. But it's important not to chase that. Let it happen naturally, Because if you try to chase it, if you try to chase progress, those are hypertrophy gains, and they're getting in the way of your actual workout. And those might not be, you might have strength goals, but at that point, the cardio is going to be killing your gains. It's going to get in the way. So that's just something I want to mention. Today, it is day 246. Woke up at 74.8 kilos, but I've had a couple parties the last couple of days, so it's not like that's my actual weight. I do hope I can stay above 74 though. So today will be a leg day, hamstrings. That will be for tonight after work. I'll see you then. Okie dokie, boys and girls, we can head straight into the workout because, well, the yapping has been done already during the run. It was only 5 kilometers, so that should set me up to recover. But I am still feeling the consequences of the tons of running I did in the last week. Anyway, I'm gonna try and do the workout I planned regardless. I wanted to do 5 reps of weighted Nordic curls with 4 extra kilos. And, it feels heavier than last time, but I'm just gonna try and stick to, the basics, the minimum, the bare minimum, whatever my main exercises contain. So I always have this core part of the workout where I try to hit a certain amount of reps for a certain amount of sets. In this case, it's gonna be 5 sets of 4 with a Nordic roll, or 4 sets of 5 reps with a Nordic roll. And usually when I have energy, after that I will spend some more energy or some more time, like really finishing up or trying to beat down the muscle completely. But on days that I feel less energetic, like today, I will keep that part away, I will keep myself at bay a little bit. But let's first, get this main part done and then see afterwards if we can do some extras, if we can put some cherries on top of the cake. Oh, fuck. I'm weak as hell. That's only 4 reps. And it felt as hard as the 4th set last time, so I'm fucking weak. I'm weak as hell. I guess just like yesterday, I'll have to change the plan, go to plan B, which I guess some bodyweight Nordic girls will suffice in this case. But let's try to get as many reps as possible. All right. I'm gonna use the remaining brain cells I have to make a decision here, which is to just do some finger assisted reps, because I feel a little bit of pain in my tendon, which is probably just because it's probably just a sign that it's not recovered completely yet from the previous training and then all the running. So I don't want to risk injury. And instead, what I'm just gonna do is some science-based stuff. If you have some tweaks, whatever, you can do some ultra controlled reps, and just get a pump. And I don't like to do that training all the time, but in cases like this where you don't want to hurt yourself, I mean, you never want to hurt yourself, but when you feel like you're gonna hurt yourself, if you just keep horse cooking, right, with momentum and everything, then you can switch it up, right? Use the science-based stuff, control everything, focus on the muscle, on the contraction, whatever, and get a good pump that way, get a good workout that way. So that's what I'm gonna do. Alright. So what I'm doing here is I'm pushing myself up using my fingers, so that's a lot of assistance. It's not that heavy. And on the way down, I slowly pull away my fingers while I try to put as much power as possible in my hamstring. So even though it looks like I have a lot of assistance, I'm trying to take away the assistance on the way down, and that makes it as heavy as possible, but for a long time under tension, slow and controlled. So I'm gonna do this for 2 more sets. Alrighty, so I'm living the consequences of trying to build up running and training at the same time. I was training very hard for legs and hamstrings, and I was training very hard for running at the same time. And my body caught up to me. My body is now saying, hey, please, time out for a minute. And yesterday, when I was doing the squats, I mentioned, you want to recover, not doing less of what you need to do, but doing less of what you don't need to do, doing less of everything else. And, today I feel the same way. However, yesterday I didn't feel any injury like pains, which today I am feeling like here in the back of the hamstring. I do feel like if I would continue training as normal, I would pull something. So I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm going to have it recover very slowly, very carefully, so that I don't get the injury like I did last year with the hamstring curls, because these things are preventable. You get really bad injuries when you feel something, you feel a sign, and then you ignore it, right? And then you keep training. That's how things get worse. Oftentimes, these big injuries, they just don't appear out of nowhere. It's something that has been building up over time, and this is something like that as well. It's just starting to build up now because last time I didn't have any pain in the hamstring. But when you feel something coming up, be ready to adapt. Improvise, adapt, and overcome, as they say. But today's training, nonetheless, got a good pump. Very happy with at least what I did do under the circumstances. And it's just maybe it's good that I have like a bit of a bad training, right? A training that doesn't go as planned, because this will teach me, hey, these are the consequences of trying to do everything at the same time. You really have to stay focused on your goal if you want to reach it. You don't want to, spend months trying to work towards the goal and then in the end be disappointed and doubting yourself, right? Because you didn't do everything you could to reach that goal, or you were just playing around doing other stuff as well, right? Maybe you were training hard for your goal, but you were also doing things on the sides. You weren't getting enough rest. You weren't eating enough food, right? These are also things that have consequences on your goal. So it's not only about training hard, Master Roshi. The Master Roshi way, you have to, train hard, study well, and eat and sleep plenty. Training hard is only 25%, right? The other things are important too. So yeah, what I'm gonna do today, right? It's evening. There is a couple hours left in the day. Is I'm gonna have some fucking dinner. I have made mistakes in the past where I would, have a bad training and be like, oh, that training sucked. I didn't spend enough energy. I don't have to eat a lot, but that's a mistake as well, because whether it's a good or a bad training, it will only change like maybe 50 to 100 calories. It doesn't really matter too much. So no matter what happens, no matter what goes bad, there are still things that you can control. There are still things that you can make go well, things that you can do that are in your power to make your overall result better. And in my case, today's training didn't go as planned, plan A failed, plan B failed, and then we just did some pump stuff. That's not something you can call ideal, right? But still, within my power, there's things left today that I can do to make the day better, to make it more of a success, towards my bulking goal. And in this case, it's gonna be eating, a hefty dinner. So I'm gonna get started on that. I'll see you tomorrow for a push day. The forearm is feeling better, so I think I can do some planche, and other than that, some push-ups too, because these are frustratingly weak. So let's go.